Long story short, that's how I lost my third or fourth fake ID.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Lead to Gold, the podcast where we talk about metaphorically turning lead into gold, you know, taking all the stuff that is hard about life and difficult and shitty and just turning it into something new, some life lessons, some wisdom, whatever you want to call it. Today, I am so excited to be bringing my first guest onto the show. This is a dear friend of mine, one of my first best friends, in all honesty. Her name is Nora Beck. And in this episode, we just really caught up. It was a lot of catching up and just seeing where she's been in life. And, you know, for a while, we were not super in touch. I did mention at the beginning here that I kept up with her, but there has just been so much of her life that I didn't know about. And today we uncovered a lot of that. I am so unbelievably proud of her. And I really can't put into words the reverence that I hold her in. I mean, holy shit. She is a powerhouse. She has been through so much and she's coming out on top. I am just beside myself that I get to share a little bit of her story with you guys today. So I'm gonna let her do most of the talking. Since this is my first interview, I will be so completely honest with you. I was very nervous. You will hear me saying love that in response a lot. So I'm sorry. I will get better at interview style podcasts over here. I mean, I want to keep doing them. I love hearing people's stories and sharing them and just learning from each other. So without further ado, I really cannot wait to share this with you. If you like this episode, if you've been liking the podcast so far, it would be amazing if you could leave a review. I'll remind you, in my last episode, I started a little something for the spirit of MLK Day. If you leave a review and you DM me at lead2gold on Instagram, lead.to.gold, send me a screenshot of the review that you left and I will donate $25 to any charity, any food bank, any mutual aid of your choosing. Up to $300 because I am a teacher. I'm not completely made of money, but, you know, I'm going to do my best with this. And let me know how to donate. If there's a preferred way to do so, let me know where to go. I will do that for you. Match it with me if you want. That would be even better. So just reminding you guys of that. If you're loving it, leave a review. I love you so much, and I hope you enjoy today's episode. It is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Love that. I love that. I love the life you lived. You've lived so many lives.
Too many.
I can't wait to talk about that. What I wanted to start off with really was, okay, so we hung out the other day, and I feel like we were really just talking a lot about high school, which is great and all, but I'm more interested in like what's up now. So, Nora, hey.
Hello.
Hey, tell me about your life now. For people that don't know you, honestly, I feel like I'm in the dark about a lot of things too. But tell me what's up. What are you doing right now? What is life?
I guess we should start at the very beginning. My name is Nora Beck.
Hi, Nora.
We are in the lovely town of Leesburg, Virginia, about 30 minutes away from the town of Hillsborough, where I grew up in, and how I met our lovely host, Aaron, as children, as young little rednecks.
Little sprites.
Yeah.
Wait, do they say little sprites or little sprouts? Little rednecks?
I don't know.
We're little rednecks.
Yeah. We weren't like at the time, but looking back, I'm like, wow, I grew up here. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. There were a lot of barn parties. We'll talk about those if it comes up. But yeah.
But yes, I am 25 years old. I was living in Bend, Oregon for a long time, and I'm kind of living down in Baja in Mexico right now.
What a change.
Quite the weather change, especially in December. Yeah, I'm living down in Baja. I'm a professional snowboarder. I am a recovering addict, and I am a recovering broken back person too.
How is your back? How long is the recovery? Like, where are you in all of that right now?
So I broke my back at the end of May, as you know. I shattered my T12, which is about like halfway down my back. One of my vertebrae just compressed and like burst into tiny pieces. And they had to go in and build some new metal stuff to like space the vertebrae out, basically. So like it kind of looks like a birdhouse almost, but it's not obviously a birdhouse. Yeah. It's a spine house. And
I love that.
So that was 6-7 months ago now. And they told me basically 18 months, don't fall off a bicycle. Mm-hmm. Like, keep your feet on the ground, no unnecessary impacts or getting tossed around or anything for 18 months. So that's another 11 months, about a year from now, which is today is December 30th, 2022.
So we're in the journey.
Yeah, we're deep
You're
in the
journey. So does that mean like no snowboarding for a year, or like how do we go about your, I guess, career?
Basically, I mean, they said no impact. So if I fall at any point, it could, in my mind, it could cause like little stress fractures or anything that's going to make it not heal right. And so I think I'm going back to Oregon on the 5th, so next week. And I think I'm going to go and try to snowboard a little bit.
Just take it easy. Yeah.
Just to... I'll go get 1 or 2 days on hill. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay. So I know we talked about this the other day too, but like you are living in Baja temporarily, right? Or like for maybe more long term, we don't know.
I guess so. Well, so the summer months are pretty hot down there, and especially as soon as it started to get cold in the States, the metal in my back started to hurt. Like, it doesn't feel good. And I was thinking, I have a friend that just signed a lease on for a year on some land down there, and I'm going to go spend the next 4 or 5 months down there. Sick. I think. Nice. I don't know. I've never been big on long term. I think even the few leases... Well, up until my last apartment, the few leases I'd signed like with people, I'd even bailed out like halfway through. I never really stayed anywhere more than like 4 or 6 months.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. I feel like even when we had to be like in a permanent location in high school, you were very much a drifter in a lot of ways, and I mean that in a good way because I always envied that. I'm like, how do you do that? But I love that. Like, so 4 or 5 months, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
How is it down there?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Everyone is so nice. And it's just like, in a way, it kind of is like if you take away, I'm not big on the whole, like, I'm not going to go preaching to anyone about capitalism or whatever. But like if you take away all of the big business, this infrastructure that we've created and expect in America, and it's just like people fulfilling jobs.
Yeah.
There's someone that sells coffee. There's someone that runs a store that they live above. Like, it's just, there's someone that does that, and you just go find them and talk to them. It's very simple. It's how people were like, it feels just like, how people were meant to live.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that. I feel like I've been seeing more stuff surrounding that lately. Like in my job, this is so random, but You know Piggly Wiggly, the grocery store?
Yes.
Have you ever been to one?
Yes.
Okay, so fun fact, I did not know this until I was teaching my freshmen. It's a book from John Green, which I think you read John Green in high school.
I think so.
Familiar? Yeah. He wrote a nonfiction book on just a bunch of different things about humanity, but one of the chapters is on Piggly Wiggly. And I learned all this stuff about Piggly Wiggly, and apparently he, like the guy that made it, invented supermarkets as they are today. And before that, it was like, oh, you just roll up to the grocery store and ask the person for what you want, and they go find it for you and wrap it up and just like give it to you. And it's like, there's one grocer, right? And there's one farmer that they get the produce from, which is so cool. So it sounds reflective of that, and I want more of that.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's nice, yeah. Well, like, so most of your fresh fruit and stuff, especially like down there, it's just there. That's its own stand, you know, and that's like the farmers came and they're selling their stuff at the fruit and vegetable stand that's right there, and you know it's all fresh. The fish and everything is gonna be caught right there, and it's like that. Damn, I kind of really like the Piggly Wiggly guy. I don't want to like give him any L's in his column, but
no, he's dead, so
no shade against.
I'm sorry. I got that vibe.
If the heirs of the Piggly Wiggly throne are listening to this.
Sorry, Clarence Saunders' grandkids.
Clarence? What's an old person name for sure?
Okay, wait. So we were talking about Baja. We were talking about the old ways of living.
Yeah, and I mean, it's probably very hypocritical of me as a white American to be like, this is how everyone should be living, because we do, as Americans, we profit off of Mexico staying poor, you know? Like, to not garble the words at all. That's how we exist as a country, is by keeping other countries down. Yeah. So it's beautiful in its own way, but then you have to remember that it's left behind like that on purpose. It's so we as Americans can advance and whatever. But
I tend to like, that's something I've wondered a lot about recently, is just like, why though? Like, why is that left behind? Why is that seen as inferior? Because one thing I was also wanting to ask about again, even though we talked about it the other day, tell me about like how it feels doing the work that you're doing down there, like just on your house, just living there.
So there's no house.
There's no house.
We're just on a plot of land that has like this tiny little, I mean, the bathroom, the toilet's inside in like a little concrete hut thing, and then the shower is kind of on the back side of it. But it's just that. It's just a plot of land with a gate around it, and my friend is working on her bus down there, so it's very like, you're outside the whole time.
You be camping.
Yes, we be camping.
Not glamping.
Sure. No.
But I love that.
Honestly, in a way, like once we moved over there, like Amelia got to plug in her bus once they brought the power. They turned the power on like 3 days into it. And once that came on, it was like, oh, this is glamping. It was like, we have electricity inside of the bus, and she's got a fridge running in there. Like, that shit is very much, you don't have a refrigerator when you're camping. So I think that's kind of glamping, but in the best way.
No, it is. Yeah. I love that. It's like, when I think of regular camping, I think of like, you bring a cooler, but you're only there for 3 days. You've been there 2 months?
No, I went down at the beginning of December. I think I got there on the 3rd or the 4th. Okay. And I returned to the wonderful land of Virginia.
And here we are.
The homeland of the CIA.
The homeland. Oh my God, wait, we're the homeland of the CIA.
What? Sorry?
But let's talk about the homeland for a minute too, because one thing that I have always wanted to know, because I feel like we stayed in touch, but pieces are missing here and there. How did you get from, and I'm talking like just right out of high school, like how did you get from high school, Peeville, good old homeland, all the way out to, did you originally start in Bend?
Yes.
And just like around, what was the journey like for you?
So, my senior year of high school, I started dating this girl that lived in town here. And I did not send in a single college application. There was a bit too many drugs and alcohol going on in my life at that point.
We were a party class, let me tell you.
It was not anything to be proud of. But long story short, I didn't send in any college applications. I knew I wasn't really doing anything. I was like, fuck. So I always loved snowboarding. I always thought it was just cool. Like, even when we were in high school, I had a job at the resort at like I say the resort, but it was this place in like an hour away in Pennsylvania, and we're in Virginia. Those are different states. And I did that from age 14, 15, 16, 17. And then I wanted to move somewhere with snow, basically. And we were looking at Salt Lake a little bit in the beginning. But then the idea of Oregon seemed very beautiful, as I later learned out was because of the Oregon Board of Tourism leaning very heavily into their advertising, as they still do. And
yes,
it is a very beautiful place, don't get me wrong. But I just kind of fell in love with the idea. And then I always watched little snowboard videos. I was like this little snowboard nerd as a kid. So I remember seeing some things from Mount Bachelor, and then I know so Mount Hood, there's this resort pretty much right down the kind of the center of Oregon. It's like an hour outside of Portland, and they stay open till September each year. So they're open all through the summer. And I knew it was rainy in Portland, and Bend is only 2 hours from Mount Hood. Mm-hmm. And it had Mount Bachelor, this place that I'd seen videos of. And so I was like that seems cute. Like, just I was like, I don't know, like, yeah, let's I thought we were gonna be like living in the woods or anything. Eastern Oregon, or well, it's Central Oregon, but everything east of the Cascades is the desert.
Right.
So it was not living. We were right next to the woods for sure, but we're not in the woods. Like, I will say there are some parts coming, especially like from Bend up towards before you hit Mount Hood, if you're going towards Portland, that resemble here a lot. Like, it's rolling hills, it's farmland. Like, it kind of looks like a lot of the places that you would see here, but it's much drier. So they have to spray a lot more water. Like, it's just a slightly different climate. And then when you get to the west half of Oregon, everything on the west half of the Cascades is tropical, basically. It's very humid. There's a lot of moisture. Like, it rains. The weather that comes down from Alaska gets trapped by the mountains on the west side, so it doesn't rain a lot on the east side, and it all rains on the west half.
That's so interesting. I guess, I could see that.
Pretty much the same for Washington, and then for parts of British Columbia right there too. Like, the weather, as it loops around the tip of Alaska, it comes like down, and then some winds come across, but it all gets stuck right along the seaboard there, in that like 100-mile zone. Right.
And is that where Mount Hood is?
Yes.
Just right in there?
It's I mean, it stands on its own, but it's right on that range. Got it. So the weather gets stuck there, and then when you go 20 minutes away, same with Mount Bachelor, you get 20 minutes back down to Bend, it's sunny when it's dumping snow up there. Interesting. Which is something I did always love. Yeah. And then we broke up the second day I was there. And I ended up moving out, and I found this little, just a room, on the other side of town. It's a very small town though. So other quote unquote other side of town for $300 a month. And I lasted there until January, and then I got kicked out, I think. I know I got kicked out. I think it was in January.
Okay.
And then I had a dear friend that I worked with that helped me buy a Geo Metro, and I lived in the back of that for the next 4 months up until the beginning of the summer there. Okay. And for those of you not sure, picture like it was like a 95, which it's basically like the same year Honda Civic. Very, very small. Yeah. Like, I could barely fit, and I'm 5'5". I'm not huge, but I could barely fit entirely lying down if I went at an angle diagonally across the car.
Wow. So 4 months in that, and
I was working at the community college,
mm-hmm.
And one of my first friends there, and still one of my best friends, Laura, her apartment was like right behind the community college, and so I would park outside of her apartment a lot, and she would let me come in, of course, and like shower and stuff like that. And
that's a good friend.
Yeah,
awesome.
She was an angel.
Aw, love that. So in that time when you were working at the school, you were an instructor here, right? Like when we were in high school?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do instruction there too?
Never.
Okay. So how did you get more involved in, like, I guess, the snowboarding scene out there?
I mean, that was my only focus. I wasn't trying to go to school. I was just trying to make enough money to go snowboarding. And then especially once I didn't have anywhere to live, it was less money I needed. So it was that's all I ever wanted to do. That was just like, fine, like I'm just gonna go snowboarding then, I guess. And then my first so that was my whole first year. And I made some friends there that year, of course. And then the next winter, there was a local company that offered to like just give me some boards for the year, and then Mount Bachelor also offered me my pass, like to be on their team for the year.
Nice.
So I was really excited about that. I was like, yeah, I get a free pass.
Hell yeah.
I got that thing taken from me before New Year's.
What happened? Oh my gosh.
I got in trouble.
Oh no.
So there was a couple things actually. So they were like building a new chairlift, and they had some zones closed, and they hadn't finished it. Like they were kind of just finishing it up, like beginning of December or so. And I was like ducking ropes, and they caught me out of bounds, and that was one strike. And then I want to say there was something else that happened after that. I don't remember what it was, but I like this idea of there being 3 strikes, and I can't remember what the second strike was. But the third strike, I let my friend borrow my pass, and they caught her, and then they let her go, so they didn't have any real like proof that, I don't know, it was a really like, it was a gray area. I was like, I'm pretty sure I could argue my way out of this, but I'm pretty sure you guys can't really prove it, unless they listen to this podcast. But it's been so long at this point, and I feel like it's fine.
Whatever.
Oh, actually, I do remember what it was.
Second strike.
So yes, so there used to be a thing in June, like right after the mountain closed. The mountain would be open till the end of May. And they did a 2 or 3 weeks. They called them June camps. And it was like they would set up a new little like park with rails and jumps, and then you could pay to do one of the camps, like as a kid. It was basically like kid camps for they have this program, MBSEF. It's Mount Bachelor Sports Education.
Yeah.
F.
Whatever that is.
Foundation. So we snuck our way up there and like got on the chair and like stole some salt bag, or like I did not do any of that. I snuck my way out of the chair, and some people I knew stole some salt bags from like one of the summit houses and brought them over because we were hitting one of their quarter pipes. And this is never mentioned to me, right? This is in June. They give me the pass a few months after that for the first time. Like, cool. When I'm getting in trouble for them having the pass that I lent to my friend, they're like, and we also know that you were poaching June camps last year. And I was like, what the like?
So you got 2 strikes at once?
I was like, how did you know that though? I was like, that was so long ago. Like, and why is this just coming up now too? I was like, this is crazy.
Wait, that's so unfair,
dude. I was that one kind of like floored me, and then I was like, whoa. I mean, you're not wrong, but so anyway, I've had a long. I was a troublesome youth, And there, to this day, are still many people within Mount Bachelor and Powder Corp that do not like me, and I apologize because I was 19. Like, I'm sorry, I was 19 and a drug addict and an alcoholic.
I mean, hey, like, what do you want from us? We're just figuring ourselves out.
I'm trying at this point, okay?
I love that, actually, like the way you just ended that, because I was listening to another podcast the other day that was like, the question was, do you believe that people are always doing their best? And like the woman that was hosting the podcast was like, no, absolutely not. But then she like learns, I don't know, through talking to a bunch of people that like, oh, maybe I need to rethink this. But
I go back. No. Some of us, and I know for sure I was not doing my best.
You were not doing your best.
I was actively trying to be worse.
Oh, tell me about that.
Just, when you're a kid and you just, the more shit that you go against, the tougher you are, and the more you say fuck you to this person that everyone likes, like the edgier you are or whatever, like we just want to be different. And sometimes that comes out in a destructive way because most people are not destructive.
Yeah. No, that's true. I think that's a good way to look at it. Like, just purposefully trying to find, I don't even know if like find meaning is the right word, but just like trying to like maybe even just feel something. Would you agree with that? Or was that?
Yes. To feel like I think more feel this sense of self. Like so many people struggle with and I think everyone pretty much to the day you die would like struggle with like who you are. Like
totally.
How you see yourself versus who you want to be. And that's especially hard when you're young.
Yeah.
And I think that's just what it's like. Okay, I don't know who I am. I guess I'm the piece of shit. I guess I'm the piece of shit that is gonna like go through your medicine cabinet and break the rules and break stuff and do whatever I want because I don't know what else I am. And man, I sound like such an old person. God, I'm catching myself. I'm like, these youths.
Was there a moment in that you kind of realized that you didn't want to be like that anymore? Or were you just kind of like...
Not in the moment,
no. Not in the moment, but like, I don't know, later on? Is that what I want to ask?
Yeah. I know there's still a part of me that does not like being told what to do in any way. And I, as soon as like... I can react very quickly still, and that's something I try to work on, but I know still I'm not like... I'm just like, fuck off. Like, don't fucking tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So I think there, for sure, especially when I first went to rehab, or even it was before that. I mean, eventually you're like, you realize that, I think I realized that like the negativity and is not attractive. I actually do remember one time I was really high on acid, and it was like kind of it's kind of a basic like thought to comprehend, but you know, sometimes those basic things just click.
Yeah.
And I was like looking around, and I was feeling like very lonely, and I was like, oh my God, I was like, these people around me, they're exuding something that people want to be around. They're exuding an attractive like happiness or whatever, maybe happy-go-lucky, but something that's positive that other people enjoy. And if you're just going the other way to be different, obviously no one wants to hang out with you. Like you're just being the bummer buzzkill. Oh yeah, I hate everything. Like nobody wants to be around that.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it was that, because I remember waking up next morning, I was like, yeah, no, duh. It's such a simple concept. I'm like, oh, the people that have friends want people to hang around them. I'm like, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would say, putting my tea behind me on the table. I would say slowly, I think.
Yeah.
That kind of became more apparent. And then, especially after I got out of rehab in like beginning of May, and then I broke my back, 2 weeks later. And when that happened, it was like both of these identities that I had outwardly of the piece of shit drug addict and the snowboarder. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to come in, I'm going to get hammered, I'm going to break all your shit. I was like, these are both gone. Because especially at the time, I was like, I didn't know if I was going to walk again. I mean, I guess still I don't know how everything's going to heal up, but everything's like, if I'm not going to be 100, I'll be 95%. And like, that's good enough for me. But at that time of having neither of like who I was. Like they were both gone, and I was freaked. I was like, who am I? Like,
Yeah.
what am I?
Yeah.
And the whole summer, this past summer, I think has been a lot of learning that, and especially learning through therapy. Also, I don't just like sit and like ponder my life and suddenly it all comes to fruition in my head. But
we
like,
stand therapy over here, you guys.
yeah, I'm like 1 sec, I'm gonna go into therapy, and then I just sit catatonic, like staring at the corner for an hour and a half. Like, wow, great session. I just got through so much.
Breath work.
But through that, I think I also it made more sense of like why I acted that way and why I still act that way.
Yeah, I mean, we constantly are unlearning patterns. I mean, I was just podcasting like a solo episode about this earlier today, but I think that it's whatever we experience at this point in life, it's probably going to be a lifelong thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you're doing it now, so.
What do you mean by that?
I guess I just mean the things that I have wondered about myself, or the things that I would like to change about myself, have now been things that I've been trying to work on for years. And I sort of think of it as like, have you heard the phrase that healing isn't linear?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think of it in that way, but with a lot of things. I'll use an example. We were talking about this earlier. Me wanting to sleep in all the fucking time. It's really hard for me to get out of bed, but I'm not just going to be able to let me set back my alarm by 15 minutes and then I'll just do that every day for a month and then I'll be healed and perfect, and it's never going to happen again. Like, right. I don't know. I just feel like nothing in life actually works that way. Nothing's linear.
No, I think especially if you're searching for like an end goal, it's like that makes it much harder.
Yeah.
But I think I see what you're saying. Just like kind of admitting that it's going to be a little bit every day, and every day, or at least you try. That's the best you can do.
Absolutely.
Do a little bit every day.
It's a process.
Mm-hmm.
Where you are now, do you feel like, well, coming home, you were in recovery sort of like with your mom too, right? And just like having family more around than usual, or am I?
For the first few weeks, yes. So that, especially that first week, I hadn't gotten out of bed at all, and with your spinal cord itself, it's like it's very hard to see, I guess, unless it's severed, like cut in half.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to see the damage and like see how your nerves and everything are gonna reconnect and get back to work.
Yeah.
So the whole first week I was down, my mom was there, and that was like a really sad time because I hadn't gotten out, I hadn't taken a step, and it was like, we don't know, it could be 6 months in a wheelchair, could be a year in a wheelchair. Ugh. Like it could be no time in a wheelchair, which is what it was no time in a wheelchair.
That's great.
But it was just one of those like we don't know kind of moments. So that she was there that first week, and then then the day she left, I think the day after she left, I was when I got up and took my first steps, and it was just like, oh, it's on. Like just from there, like I did it just with like these two parallel bars on either side, and it just like 4 steps forward, 4 steps back, and I think I did that once that day, and then the next day we did that like 10 times, just like back and forth.
Okay.
And then I think I went up the stairs, and then I went down, but it's way harder to go back down the stairs actually than going up them. Yeah. Like the stabilizing in slowly letting yourself fall is actually way harder. And in the week or 10 days or whatever that I wasn't, maybe it was 2 weeks that I wasn't walking, like it was just gone. I could not remember how, like my muscles were just like toast. But it was like 4 steps the first day, 40 steps, and then 400 steps. It was just like go, like right off the bat. And then they moved me after I did 2 weeks so it was it was like 10 days. And then I walked like the last 3 or 4 days, because then at the 2 week mark was when I moved over to this specifically PT. Basically, it wasn't a hospital, but it was like one of their wards across town that is just like, okay, let's get you back into the world. Yeah. And I did a week there, and my dad came out for that week, which was interesting. Yeah. I haven't had the best relationship with my father over the years. So I would say, especially the first day he showed up was my birthday. And I was miserable.
Oh.
I was like in PT, I was just crying because I was like, it's my birthday and I'm stuck in here, and the one person I have to see, which I don't take this personally, Dad, but I hadn't seen him in a long time, so I was like really kind of overthinking it, and I was just like, fuck this, dude. I was like, this is fucking miserable. And then, so they let me out of PT early that day. They were like, it's okay, sweet, you can go and like just take it easy. I was like, okay, thank you.
Thanks, happy B-Day. Oh my gosh. And that was this birthday.
Yes, that was back in June. And then Dad's there for the week. I get out Friday. I'm only in there for a week, which amazing. Like they were like, it could be 3-4 weeks in the first hospital, then 3-4 weeks in the PT place, and then you could still go home in a wheelchair for 6 months. Like we have no idea, but it was 2 weeks in the first hospital, 1 week in the PT place, and no wheelchair at all. It was just
amazing.
I've been so incredibly lucky and blessed and grateful.
I'm so happy for you.
Me too. But yes, then my dad got me back. I was in Portland. My dad got me back home to Bend. And then my mom came out for another week and spent that first week with me.
Nice.
But at first I was telling her, I was like, you don't have to come. Because that first week that she was there, it was bad. Like I was down. I was crying. I was miserable.
Yeah.
And I was so much better than I was then, and so I was trying to like explain that to her, and she was just like, I think that made her more freaked out. So she was like, "No, I have to come." And then she showed up. She was like, "Oh my god, like you're doing." I was like, "Yeah,
you
baby,
really
look at me."
better. Oh my gosh, I know she would have been like, she wanted to be there. Knowing Mama Beck.
Yes,
I love that.
My
I love that
mother
lady.
is a big problem solver.
I love her.
We do love her.
Angel, Earth Angel. Tell you what. Oh my gosh. So. Side note, how does she feel about you living in Baja?
She's worried about everything. I mean, there's, especially as Americans, we have like this conception that Mexico's scary.
But see, that's always what I thought about Baja. Like I've heard bad things, and I hate that because I'm like, I'm sure it's just freaking beautiful.
The northern states of Baja that's where all of the gang war, the cartel wars are basically happening. But it's between them. They're fighting over turf. You're fine. You're not going to get caught up in anything. They have no reason to hurt you. There's no reason to hurt you at all here.
Okay. Vibes.
Yeah.
I am coming to visit.
I hope so.
I fully am coming to visit.
Yay.
Sick. I guess just in terms of what's going on with you now, like you're down there. This is something I've never really fully been clear on as far as like what you're doing, but you work for Burton?
No.
What is your relationship with Burton?
I'm an independent contractor in the eyes of the U.S. or the IRS. But I'm a pro snowboarder, so I get paid from them. I get paid from a couple other companies too, from Tactics and from this weed dispensary in Bend, and Tokyo Starfish.
Sick.
They're old snowboarders. That's like they just love it. They're just out here to support. And
that's awesome.
We love them.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about I know your work day, quote unquote, and I'm putting air quotes up, is like not typical, but what is work for you?
I don't do many like competitions or anything like that. What I do is like we film street parts. So we go to like different cities around the country or around the world that get snow and have snow and have like architecture that is just natural that we can set up, and like say a stair set with a rail down the middle or a wall or a roof to jump off of, and then we shovel that and we set it up and we film it. And then we make a little video out of it each year. Sick. So a normal day for that, you're up, like the goal, depending on the sun, sometimes, some places you are, like especially in the winter, I mean, you don't get a lot of sun. So like in Canada or something, you'll try to be out the door by like 8 in the morning, and you typically the day before or the night before, we'll have to start there, because the night before you want to have already shoveled and set things up.
Yeah.
So you'll go out and shovel from whatever. You'll have your dinner 7, 8 o'clock, depending when the sun goes down.
Yeah.
5, I don't know. And then you go shovel till midnight or 1 a.m. or something, to have these things set up, because especially in very cold climates, where you just have soft snow, if you shovel it and re-till that moisture and then let it sit overnight, it's going to brick right up.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about, like, if you're building a lip up onto the rail or like the little takeoff, like you want that snow hard because you don't want to sink as you're coming off of it. So you shovel that all the night before. You get home, you try to sleep, get a good few hours of sleep, and you get out by 8, and you try to hit the things that you've shoveled the night before. You try to use that daylight.
Yeah.
Because it's
For the video.
way easier, to light things obviously in the day.
Right.
So you use your daylight as best you can. And you'll be out from 8 to whatever, 4, 5. Sometimes if you get more, like we were in Finland in March and it was dark. Sun came up at like 7 and went down at like 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like that whole time is you're out using that daylight to try to get the clip, and you'll rotate off. So it'll be like, okay, my turn to hit a spot, your turn to hit a spot, my mom's turn to hit a spot, whatever.
Oh my God, Mama Beck on a snowboard.
I want to get my mom a clip. That'd be so sick.
That'd be so cool.
And you try, you fall for hours and hours and hours. You land 1, 2, 3, try to get something that looks good on camera. And when you're happy, you move on to the next thing.
Cool.
And then when the sun goes down, you try to get some food in you, try to get some coffee in you, and you just go shovel. So you have like 2 or 3 things set up and ready to go in the morning, and you can just get up and go do them. You don't have to worry about any extra work.
I mean, that's cool. Like, get a little rest. That's so nice. Oh my gosh.
We try. But then there's sometimes, like there was one morning, I wanted to hit this, it was the roof of a hockey rink. And I don't know if you know about hockey players, but they are notorious for 6 a.m. practices.
Yes.
Like very early. So we were there at 4.
Oh my God.
And that was after shoveling till midnight or something the night before. And your mindset is like, you only have 6 to 10 weeks for the year to like do this. So it's like, you're just in it. You sleep later. And you just go, get up, drink more coffee, eat more food.
Do the thing.
Yeah.
Vibes.
The hockey rink, unfortunately, didn't really work out. So I stashed a shovel there, or not a shovel, a ladder that I'd bought there the night before because I wanted it to, we couldn't fit it in the car.
Yeah.
Stashed it around the corner, and then we show up 4 a.m, ladder's gone. I was like, fucking shit. And so the guy, the owner of the hockey rink, had seen me stash the ladder, and then he had gone and taken it for himself, and then he ended up showing up like an hour later or something. It's like 5 a.m, like, because he saw us on the camera. So 45 minutes later to an hour, he was there, and he was calling the cops had shown up with him. And we ended up getting kicked out, but I kind of made my way up there, and then while he was kicking us out, our filmer made a joke. He was like, "Oh, but can I have that ladder back that you took?" And he was like, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, you can." Like all angrily, and we were like, "Okay." He's like, "I bet you guys stole that too." And I was like, "No, as a matter of fact, I spent 110 euros on that ladder, and I just spent all morning thinking I was out that money."
Oh my goodness.
But yes, we did get the ladder back.
Thank God.
Like it didn't work out. Long story short, though. But,
lame.
Yes, so can be very long.
Yeah.
But you're on a trip for like 2 weeks at a time or so, and then you get to go home, you get to rest, or not.
Or just, do your thing. So this is a random question before I move on, but is there a place that you have wanted to film or do a project that you haven't gone yet?
I want to go to like Russia or Kazakhstan or like something like, I know Russia has more snow, obviously, but
Kazakhstan is beautiful.
We were trying to get to Russia mid-February of last year.
I know what happened in
it was not a good, it was funny because I was literally, it was like my 3rd day of like looking into it because I was like, it's 10, but I was like looking on the US government like websites, and
they were
suddenly,
like, do not.
Suddenly, the travel advisory had changed to, if you are an American, have any affiliation with America, and you're thinking about traveling, don't. If you're there, get out.
Get out.
And if you can like basically don't go as an American. But I was I was filming with a Danish national who lives in Canada and an Icelandic national who lives in Sweden. So they were like, "No, it's fine." I was like, "No, you don't understand. The American government says don't go to Russia. I don't go to Russia."
Thank you. Good night.
That's one of those. I've seen this in movies way too many times. Yeah, and I'm not falling for it.
We're not taking that risk.
No,
I've taken a lot of risks. That's not going to be one of them.
I'm not going to go, "Oh, yeah, just fuck you, the National Transportation Safety Board. I'm going to go to Russia."
Dang.
Yeah, it was like a week later, the whole Brittany Griner thing happened. And it was like, that could have been me.
Could have been you.
It wouldn't have been. I'm not high profile enough for that. But
well, I mean, enough. You're a sports person.
Yeah, well, we're technically involved in sports.
A sports girly.
Yeah, I'm a sports girly. Yeah.
So now, I guess this is kind of an extended break for you. What's next?
I don't know. So I've been lucky. I would say actually when I got hurt, it was I struggled hard. I was like I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I was talking to a friend, Izzy, who she also broke her back like back in January or so about a year ago now. And she was telling me, she was like, when it was me, I said, "Look, nothing matters. I just want to walk." She's like, that's it. She's like, "I just focused on walking," because it's truly like that is the biggest part. Like when I was at first, when I like fell and hit the ground and like my legs didn't move at all and I couldn't get them to move, and it was like, that's it. I was like, that's it. You're in a chair for the rest of your life.
Jesus,
and
that's so scary.
Dude, it is terrifying, and it gave me such a new respect for those people who went through that and they still can be positive about it, because I just went, nope. I was like, fuck it. I was like, I don't give a shit anymore. I was like, I'm not coming back to this world just to sit in a chair for the rest of my life. Like, I cannot do that.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, it just gave me such a huge respect for people that can and like have gone through that and did that. But as he was just like, you're gonna walk, like just focus on that, and everything else after that is try to view it as a bonus.
Yeah.
And once that is, and this was also before I'd taken any steps, so that once she said that, and then I got to take steps, I was like, oh, she's right. I was like, all I want to do is like, if I can walk out of here, I was like, that's it. And they even were like trying to get me to make goals. Of like, okay, where do you want to be in 6 months? Where do you want to be in 9 months? I was like, I don't want to do that. I was like, I want to focus on walking out of here, and if anything else comes, I want that to be a bonus.
I love that.
It because I think I try to still do that. Like, I would love, obviously, I do want to go back to snowboarding. And there's no reason to think right now it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I try not to make that my end goal.
Yeah.
Because if that happens, that's great. Like, that's awesome. That's the sweetest little cherry on top. But if it doesn't, I'm going to be okay.
I love that.
Like, and I don't need that to be okay, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to make it. And so that's kind of just where I've been trying to keep my head is like if that happens, great, but if not, you're gonna make it, dude. Like, this is your time. You can thrive as a person, as yourself, and like, you don't need this whole facade of fucking stupid tricks that hurt.
Yeah, and I was gonna say earlier, like, the way that you were describing having gone to rehab for addiction and then like basically physical therapy, rehab, whatever, like all within a few months. It's like having the floor ripped out from underneath you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now you get this chance to kind of, I don't want to say reinvent yourself because you're you, but like figure it out.
I think in a way though, like that is exactly what it is. Because I never really spent the time to figure out who I was as a person. Right. I just got this outside validation that the tricks I was doing was cool. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, I was just feeding off of that, but like not ever taking any time on the people around me, on building any relationships. I was strictly like, okay, if these people on the internet keep telling me I'm doing good, I must be doing good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I could see that being like a huge influence.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you're out there publicly and people are seeing like all the cool shit you're doing, but then they don't know what's going on like in here.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes you don't either. Like, I know I relate to that. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't see me like shitting my pants because I'm going through withdrawals in the corner. Like, they're just like, yeah, cool, 270, bro. I'm
sick.
Like, you're right. Like,
okay, there was one last thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to pull a card from one of these. Have you ever heard of this game? We're Not Really Strangers.
no.
It's an awesome game where you pull cards and they're kind of vulnerable, but like you just chat about them. Yeah. So I have two.
Sorry, I'm like I'm holding the microphone 10 feet away. I'm like I'm gonna recreate it right now. I'm like,
yeah. We're new to this. It's fine. But I have a healing pack and I have a forgiveness pack. Which one feels more applicable to what you want to talk about?
Healing.
Okay. Vibes. Let's just pull a card. We'll talk about it. Ooh, okay. This one just flipped up. I'm doing this like a little tarot card. We can do more than one if you want. Wild card. Admit something to yourself. Or just admit something.
I hit a car one time and I drove away without telling anybody. I was driving through the parking lot at Mount Bachelor, and it was kind of icy, or well, there was snow on the ground. It's a ski resort, and I like am in the geo, and I like go to hit the brakes, and I just slide right into the corner of this car, and I dent it. And I drove away. I backed up, and I kept on driving, and I made another loop, and I parked at the other end of the parking lot and pretended that it wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
And I do feel bad about that. But about a year later, the exact same thing happened to me in the same parking lot. So I do think I've paid my penance for that. Maybe not. That could be like, that feels kind of like wrong to say out loud.
No.
You know? Like, I'm in the clear for the bad things I did.
What do they call that? Vengeance?
I mean,
not vengeance.
I'm just trying to think of things that are like applicable. Like, I have stolen drugs from people and I've stolen money from people, but that's kind of like more personal. Sometimes I catch myself just like making things up about myself too, and like just like kind of off the out of nowhere, and I'm like, that didn't happen. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, my dude? Like,
yeah,
especially when people ask if I've like ever been somewhere, sometimes I just catch myself just saying yes, or like making up stories about when I went to this place where I didn't. And I'm like, what am I doing?
What am I doing?
And it truly just happened. Like, I'm not even thinking about it. And suddenly I just am living in a fantasy world. And I'm like, what the? Like.
Can I admit something?
Yes.
I do that too.
Yeah.
I do. I am trying to think of like a clear example of that. But I totally will just like say something and run with it. Maybe not as often as I used to, but I definitely do that. Mm-hmm. I promise I'm not a pathological liar, guys, but like sometimes you'll never
I don't know. Not about you, but sometimes with myself, I'm like, dude, shut up. Like
wait. Hold on. This never happened.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will catch myself, and it depends on who I'm with, but sometimes I'll just be like, actually, I was totally just kidding. I've never done any of that.
Yeah.
That whole last 5 minutes with that didn't happen.
See, that's better than me because I just won't. I guess the one it's happened a few weeks ago. There was this French and Swiss couple that I met in Baja, and they were talking about of course everyone once the topic gets to like, oh, what do you do, and when snowboarding comes up, that's all people want to talk about. And I fully just made up the story about, like, they were just asking, like, if I'd ever been anywhere in Switzerland. I was like, yeah, I've totally been to Laux, and I was, like, there, and then this thing happened, and then that happened. And I was like, why am I doing this?
You just want to feel like a part of the conversation.
The conversation was with me.
I know.
They asked me, and I just started making shit up, and I was like, that's not...
They don't care. They don't care.
And I think No, I'm not even gonna like try to excuse it. I'm not. It's not even like I'm doing it to like make other people feel. I don't know. Sometimes it feels good to like when people are like, "Oh, we have this in common."
But yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that though. I do it too. That's my little admittance. We're both just little pathological liars together.
Yeah. Oops.
Whoops. Okay, last question. And I like this one too. I think this is a good way to end. What's one thing, big or small, you're most looking forward to? And what about it excites you the most?
I don't know if I can put a finger down on any one thing. Like my little sister's graduating from college in May. Obviously, I'm very excited about that. But I think this kind of falls in line with like what I was saying about just if something comes, like, sweet, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Like, I really have spent a lot of time being too far ahead, thinking too far ahead for the payoff that's going to come down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've really not been, or trying not to be in that mindset for the past few months.
Yeah.
So I think I can honestly say, like, there's nothing really that I'm super looking forward to. Maybe, I'm gonna drive down from Bend to Baja, in a week or two here. And I do love, like, a road trip like that, where it's like, okay, I don't have any reason to, like, go to Tahoe or anything this year, of course, because, like, I'm hurt. So, like, this is my reason. So I get to go see some people and, like, see these views that I love and I know are amazing. And so I guess I'm looking forward to that. But it's hard to say.
Otherwise,
it's hard to say. I'm not sure. Yeah.
The great unknown.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the great unknown.
It's kind of a lame answer, though. I'm sorry.
No, it's
I'm
not.
like nothing, because I'm just so present and, like, in the moment all the time.
Listen, that is the episode that I recorded earlier today, is like, I'm trying to call in more presence, so I have something to learn from you. There we go. I mean, I love that, and that's totally cool. It's good to keep life a little mystery, you know?
Yeah. I've never been good at planning things either.
Yeah.
Like, it's the more I've planned, the more I try to, like, lock that in
Hold
my
on
head,
to it.
and, like, things never work out like that. Like,
oh my God.
I kind of just give up.
We have a lot to learn from each other. AKA, I have a lot to learn from you, because
I have a lot to learn too.
Illy.
Love you.
Well, thanks for doing this with me.
Of course.
Oh my gosh, this was so fun. Thanks for being my first guest.
I'm so happy to be.
Yay. Well, where can people find you? Do you want people to find you, or do you want to stay elusive?
Physically in the world, I don't really have an address. I can give you my friend's address.
No,
but
that's okay. I mean,
he might not like it.
That's okay.
You can find me on Instagram at Snora. That's at snore.a.
Love that name.
My phone number is
We're done
because
here.
I'm so present.
We're done
it's
here.
because I'm so in the moment at all times.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Done.
Thank you so much for having me on. I love you and I appreciate you.
Too.
And I hope that if you listened, that you made it this far. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to us ramble. See you next 2 Mondays from now. Bye.